The CEO of Soldier On. I'd like to welcome everybody today on what is a very solemn day in the Australian calendar, Anzac Day. I hope that you got out there on your driveway this morning and commemorated Anzac Day. It's a little bit different from going to the War Memorial or marching. Not that the marching would have started yet, but certainly something different. Australia became a nation with the federation of our states in 1901. Those states truly became united when we shed blood together on the sands and cliffs of Gallipoli and on the battlefields of Fromelles, Pozières and Villers-Bretonneux. Again in World War II, in Tobruk, places like Tobruk, Kokoda, and in many other theatres like Korea, Vietnam and Malaya. That proud tradition has continued with our wonderful contemporary veterans who serve and continue to serve in Afghanistan, Iraq, East Timor, Solomon Islands, in peacekeeping and humanitarian missions. More recently, our brave men and women served in the ADF, which included reservists. First time the Governor-General called out reservists. It was the first during the bushfires, and now indeed again for COVID-19 pandemic. Indeed, it's a pandemic that has kept us physically apart, but ironically even more connected via the commemorative service, which I hope you've had an opportunity to watch. And if not, the good thing is it's available on demand from our website, soldieron.org.au. So I encourage you to watch it. It's deeply moving. Really like to thank Sharon Sloan and Jane Farrell from my team who put that together. It was a pretty amazing effort. We absolutely honour those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in war and those who continue to carry the scars of their service today. Soldier On enables veterans and their families to thrive. We are here for veterans and their families today, and we'll be here for you tomorrow, lest we forget. I'd like to welcome all of you that have joined us for our live discussion. It's going to be pretty casual. I mean, we don't want this to be the standard sort of formal affair that you have in a commemorative service. We want it to be pretty casual. Also like to welcome those who are watching this on demand later on. And I'd just like to introduce some amazing guests that we have for you today. They're people who have served our country as veterans, and also we've got a very special guest as well, which hopefully the technology is working and it's all good. But look, I'd like to introduce our guests. We've got John Hargrave, who has served in the Solomon Islands, Timor-Leste and Afghanistan. I can see there's some proud medals there on your chest, mate, a little bit more than the one I've got. So that's pretty impressive services there, mate. It's obviously nice and sunny up there in Queensland as well. So welcome, John, to the chat. Yeah, I'm not actually hearing the audio, so hopefully others are. So I might just check that. But we've also got Ben Farinazzo, David Slavich. And so Ben served in East Timor. Can you say something there, Ben? I want to see if I've got my audio happening.
G'day, Ivan, John, David. Good to see you guys. Hello, everyone out there.
Fantastic, and Dave Savage, both Ben and Dave are just amazing ambassadors of Soldier On. So fantastic having you guys on board, and pretty impressive set of medals there for you, Dave, as well. And where are your medals, Ben? I can't see any. You got the Soldier On badge.
That's it, mate.
Fantastic. And we've also got Jeremy Satchell, who's going to be joining us. And Jeremy, how are you?
Morning, everyone.
Fantastic. Just checking your audio. And just checking your audio as well, John. Can you just just say a few words, see if we've got your audio now? No, we're not getting your audio, John. So we might just.
Sounds better like that.
and I think we'll get John just to sort out his audio. But while he's doing that, we'll have a bit of a chat, and hopefully we've got a special guest joining us a little bit later as well. So when Jane indicates to me that he's available, we'll announce that as well. So maybe I might just sort of start with maybe yourself, Ben. So look, I assume you fine gentlemen are out in the front driveway this morning or on the veranda. So how did you find this morning's service? A little bit different from being up at the War Memorial.
Yeah, different experience, but really actually enjoyed seeing that service online. The War Memorial service followed by the Soldier On service. I was doing pretty well, but it was pretty primed by Shannon's rendition of I Was Only 19, then listening to Adrian, Sarah, Peter Cosgrove, and I was doing pretty well until I Am Australian played at the end, and I was like, you got me. I think after that, though, it was the messages that I started reading online and seeing from veterans around the country that was really moving. It's wonderful to see so many people connected with the spirit of Anzac Day. And I'm very grateful that Soldier On was able to pull something together in light of the fact that we couldn't be standing shoulder to shoulder at the War Memorial.
Yeah, no, it was a different experience, but I guess one of the positives of that is it really gave us the opportunity to reflect on your service and those who are not with us anymore, and those who have carrying scars. It certainly was different, but I think it was a little bit more reflective.
Yeah, I found the comments made by the Governor General really pertinent, particularly when he talked about unearthing certain emotions on Anzac Day, and I think that's what happens. Is it brings up a range of emotions, many that I don't particularly want to deal with or talk about, but they are there, and they connect you in spirit with so many people around the country, past, present, and even thinking about the kids that will take up the spirit of service and continue doing what we do as Australians to protect and defend our national interests. We're bound together by service. And I think this Anzac Day was a really good reminder of that and a great way to connect online with everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Ben. And just checking your audio there, John. Have we got you now? Can you hear me? And is anybody else hearing John, or is it just me not hearing John?
No, I can't hear him.
Yeah, I think you'll have to do a mime, John. Otherwise, I'm sure he'll join us in a sec when we've got that. You've got to love technology. Might switch over to yourself, Dave, and there was a great interview there on Sky News. Well done. You've got that beard happening now, I can see. So how are you?
Yeah, look, I'm good, and yeah, it was great to have the opportunity yesterday to share some thoughts about Anzac Day, and yeah, look, I've been fortunate over the years to have had Anzac Day on deployments in places like East Timor and Bougainville and in other places in the Commonwealth War Graves in Sri Lanka and in Burma, but this was a really unique experience, and as my wife said afterwards, there's a lot of people who, for emotional or other reasons that don't go to the large gatherings, that this may even, suit them in the future going forward to commemorate in their own way, in their own space. And one of the things that I liked about it was, after the ceremony, was chatting to the neighbours afterwards that you normally might just wave your hand at and say good day, but we actually, stood and talked about 30 minutes afterwards, and so it's actually, even though we're in isolation, this initiative has been so successful in actually connecting us with people around us. So hats off, to the people who put it together. Brilliant.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's interesting. When I was chatting with our chairman, Peter Lay, the former chief of army. He said to me, "This is the first time Soldier On has put that commemorative service together, and indeed, I'm sure the first time we've done a live feed like this as well." And he said to me, "You know what, Ivan? This is going to be really good for those people that can't make it to an Anzac Day march, or getting together, or sitting in a nursing home, or invalided for whatever reason, or incapacitated." So I think that's certainly going to be a big plus. I mean, I think the key thing is that we need to make sure that we do this again, that it's not just under this COVID-19 environment, because the danger is we just go back to the previous methodology and exclude those who would not normally be able to join us. So I think that's pretty key. Hey, John, have we got your audio now?
I think hopefully we're back on. So there we go. We're away. Going back to the good old trusty hardwired stuff. So
must be a Queensland thing, mate.
Oh, well, at least it's 23 degrees and sunny.
Oh, that's mean.
It's certainly sunny. It was probably bright and sunny at 6 o'clock in the morning up there too, wasn't it?
It was, and it was really good because you'd actually see all the people that are out in their driveways, as you were discussing. It was, for me, it was a very humbling experience as well. I was very lucky to have a Delta Company 6RR Vietnam veteran on the driveway with me this morning from where I am. So I had another veteran that I could share that experience with. We both commented how good it was to see the average Australian out in their driveway when they didn't have to be. Passing on that Anzac spirit.
Yeah, no, it's pretty amazing. I looked across and there was a number of candles, a number of people out front, which was just amazing. And I live in a suburb which is pretty, the houses are pretty far apart. So it was, I think it would have been amazing if you lived in an area where there was a bit more, proximity with your neighbours too. I think that would have been fantastic. I had my iPad up there, watching the War Memorial service and the candle, and I finally got my son and wife out as well, so they were out with me. Getting dressed up in a suit's always a bit strange early in the morning, but it's certainly an amazing thing for Anzac Day. And we've got a comment up there from Marlene. Thank you, Marlene, for that comment. We've got a whole bunch of comments coming through as well. So thank you to all those people who are watching and just reflecting on that service this morning. So I might cross over to yourself, Jeremy, and perhaps just some words from yourself. You've got a lovely background there. You obviously prepared that nicely for today. Thank you. So how did you find that this morning from where you came from?
I'm down here in Adelaide, and like the other gentlemen have said, it's great to see the community spirit get behind this initiative, and seeing some of your neighbours that you never ever cross paths with, other than pulling out of the driveway and giving a cursory nod to out there. And we actually went to Coles yesterday and bought some Anzac biscuits and shared them around the neighbourhood as well, and that was a great icebreaker. And had the service on the boom box, making sure everyone was out of bed and could hear it as well. So a great initiative from the local community was a local bugler actually went down to the tram stop and served as a point of reference for everyone to gather, obviously adhering to social distancing. But as everyone else says, it's a great way to commemorate in these uncertain times, and going forward, we need to embrace different ways to ensure the Anzac spirit lives on.
Thanks, Jeremy, and welcome from Adelaide. And we're very proud to have you as a Soldier On ambassador, and thank you to all you gentlemen for your wonderful service to our country. So, Jeremy, what does Anzac Day normally mean to you, and did you sort of feel it was a bit different from normal, or is it still sort of feeling the same for you? Or?
It's a bit different. It's good to have the family together, and there's probably a little bit more focus for myself in terms of being able to reflect and participate in events like these. I'm still a reservist, so there was a good chance I would have been marching with the regiment through the city of Adelaide. And then our footy club was actually playing an Anzac Day match. And that obviously isn't going to happen. But we've still got our Guernseys made up, our unique Anzac Day Guernseys, and I'll put one up on the Soldier On website later on. And all of our guys will be wearing them proudly today and getting in the spirit of all things Anzac. So I think it brings some focus to the day, and as you said before, Ivan, we're not doing the same old thing. And the technology is a great way to catch up with your mates and stay connected.
Yeah, so are you guys trying to connect with your colleagues and ex-servicemen virtually today, or is it by the phone, or you guys got plans today to try to connect with your colleagues?
It's already happening. Yeah, it's been going since about 5:30 this morning.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
look, we've got a scheduled call with a lot of my friends that we all sort of get together with on Anzac Day via an online streaming app mid-afternoon. We'll all get together and we'll all have a chat and a beer virtually. It's happening. As Ben said, people are already on it. It's already happening.
Yeah. Look, I started getting messages from about 5:30. So look, it's so good. And one of the things that I noticed checking Facebook before I came on here was how many a lot of the guys I serve with have got young families now, and seeing them out there, posting photos of them with their young families, from babies right to toddlers and things who would never have been able to manage getting them to a service. So Facebook and online the same as the others, but it's already started. It's great. It's really good.
Yeah, that's good. So that's not something you would normally do on a day like today. You wouldn't sort of connect that way, would you? It's more a COVID-19 type connection thing, is it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, it is, and it's interesting because no one was shy about sending messages so early, which normally you'd probably think, will they be going or not? So you wouldn't send something, but it seems such a universal thing that everyone was sort of the background is participating, and everyone just sort of expected everyone to be up. So that's a positive thing.
Hey, John, you've got some beautiful lorikeet sounds happening there in the background. It's
well,
makes everyone want to stay up in Queensland.
Sorry, not to boast, but if you can look over my shoulder, you can see the beach there as well.
Hard life, mate.
Well, comes with its benefits, Queens. Look, if the lorikeets are too loud, I can move inside as well. But look, I thought everyone else.
You can hear the plovers in the background as well.
Well, you can't get away from them, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'd like to better when we couldn't hear John and him boasting about his beach.
Sorry to rub it in.
What you were saying, Ivan, is and I think this links into something that Dave and Jeremy said earlier, was often when I would go to an Anzac Day parade or ceremony, I find it quite challenging to really connect with the people around me. I'm kind of in my own space, my own zone. Do what I do. Might go to the pub later on and connect with a few people, but I find it really hard to have a further level of engagement. Whereas the ability to engage online in this way and see the comments has actually been quite therapeutic and allowed me to reconnect with a range of people around the country in a way that I haven't experienced before on Anzac Day. So that's been quite a unique experience.
Yeah, no,
yeah, we'll get to some comments. I wouldn't mind maybe just talking a little bit about Soldier On. Obviously, CEO of Soldier On, and for those listening that aren't fully aware, we and watching, Soldier On enables veterans and their families to thrive. We use the HELP acronym. HELP. H is for health and well-being, E for employment, L for learning, and P for participation. So what Soldier On's all about is providing preventative measures in terms of getting a job, getting an education, recognising that prior learning, social connection, which has obviously been quite challenging lately with COVID-19, because as humans are so, we like to give a hug and handshake and that sort of thing. I know you do, Ben, which I'm missing. And from a health and wellbeing perspective, things like yoga, nutrition, our March On campaign, which is all about fitness, and of course the psychological services that we provide for those who are, carrying scars from their service and PTSD and that sort of thing. So we Anzac Day is a very important day for Soldier On, and hopefully we can sort of continue this sort of virtual commemorative service. So have you all watched the commemorative service? Have you had an opportunity to watch it yet?
Yep, loved it.
Yeah. So if you haven't had a chance to watch it, so the best way to do it is to go to the Soldier On. So after this chat session that we're having, going to soldieron.org.au. It features some words there from the Governor General, from our wonderful chairman, Peter Lay, who's the former Chief of Army. It has a number of comments and reflections from Soldier On service ambassadors. And what's amazing is, and this is a special guest that we've got here this morning that we're about to say good day to, and that is Shannon Noll, who recorded a new cover version of I Was Only 19. So welcome, Shannon. I'll see if we can get you into the chat. Whilst Jane's working on that, the technology. But yeah, Shannon has re-recorded the Red Gum classic I Was Only 19, and it's a very different version from the other versions. And I think one of the things I really like about this new version is, Soldier On's all about looking after our contemporary veterans, and I think the new version of I Was Only 19 by Shannon is a contemporary version, and it sort of does give a modern take on it, and hopefully the technology will let he's joined in, but he's not on camera. Is that, I think, is the comment? Can we hear Shannon?
I think while we're waiting for him, just been really pleased to see Shannon come on board as an ambassador. He's done a great job in getting the message out around the country, and he's truly connected with the veteran community. Massive shout out also to Charlie Tizard and the guys at Throttle Media for pulling this together on the website, and for fostering that relationship also with Shannon. So thank you, Charlie, and to all the team at Social Media. I think Shannon's involvement is terrific and really genuine. It's great to have him on board.
Yeah, no, you said that really well, Ben. I mean, he's definitely super genuine. James is saying he's just got no sound, so he's going to join us, I promise. Yeah, so Shannon and I are actually doing an interview on the Today Show on Channel 9 at 9:50 today. So that'll go across the nation. So I'm sort of hoping that this sort of helps Shannon too, in the sense of it's pretty tough for musicians and artists right now, because Shannon had a whole bunch of gigs that were scheduled to happen, and they're not happening. And when you think about their livelihood, I mean, they rely upon money from those live gigs. So, I think all of us should do our best to try to help out all musicians, and Shannon, see if we can somehow help out in that environment. So, yeah. So if you've got not watching anything else, I think it's 9:50 is when we're going to be on the Today Show. So that'll be interesting. Yeah. So maybe just reflecting on the Soldier On side of things, Ben. I think you've said to me that Soldier On's made a pretty big difference for you. Can you maybe just sort of let our viewers know about what does Soldier On mean to you and how we help?
Back to that. Here we are. Hey, Noll.
G'day, guys. How you going?
Yeah, mate.
That's good. We might come back to that question, Ben, but you're welcome, mate, and it's good to see. I watched your live stream last night with from your lounge room there. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, she was a bit of a the technological part of it's always a bit of a worry. We're still trying to work out the bugs, but it's a bit of fun anyway.
Yeah, no, you're here. You're with us. Thanks, and we are just saying that you and I will be on the Today Show a little bit later this morning. 10,
mate. Yep.
10. So, So how you? Thank you so much for that new rendition of "I Was Only 19." It's just amazing. So what inspired you to do that, Shannon?
Mate, it's quite funny because we actually used to do that version of that song like 28 years ago in the cover band. Back when we used to play pubs around Forbes and Condo and things like that, and then we just sort of had it up our sleeve all this time, and then just thought after meeting Charlie and then coming on board as an ambassador, we decided to pull it out and rejuvenate it. So it was just the right time to do it, we thought, and so it's great to actually get it out. I think it's taking along pretty well, so it's good.
Fantastic. Yeah, look, we're joined this morning with John, Ben, Dave, Jeremy, who are all serving ambassadors and served our country and have served overseas as well. So this is what it's all about, mate. And you supporting veterans and their families just means so much to Soldier On and to veterans, and we really, really appreciate you coming on board as an ambassador and supporting us. It's really important.
Oh no, I appreciate it, guys. I think it's a fantastic thing that Soldier On does. So the least I can do, I think, is show my support.
Yeah, I was just commenting before that it's really hard for musicians now. I mean, like with COVID-19, there's when I'm talking to Charlie, he was saying that you had a whole bunch of forward gigs that you had planned that you've had to cancel. So it really affects the livelihood for all musicians around the country. I was seeing some stats saying that this has just amounted to millions and millions of dollars of. I couldn't believe how many live gigs there are around the country. I mean, they've had some stats. It's huge. So what sort of impact has that had on you, mate?
Yeah, no, I lost.
Lots of impact.
So am I missing audio? Is everyone missing audio?
Yeah, missing audio there.
Yeah, we just lost you a bit there, Shannon. We got you back now. Yeah, no, I think we've lost a bit of audio there. I think where are you in the Shire there, Shannon? Prime Minister's electorate. So it's I think you can hear me. It looks like the NBN hasn't made it to the Shire yet. So but, yeah, we'll get that audio back in a sec. But while we're just waiting on that, Ben, we were just asking before about how that how Soldier On's helped you.
Initially, when I came on as a board director before then moving off the board and becoming an ambassador, it helped me to reach out to a number of my mates that weren't doing so well. As we moved forward, I was then in a position where I got diagnosed with PTSD and had to go to hospital. It was during that period that Soldier On actually helped me get into a hospital, which actually saved my life. I'm very grateful for that. And when I got out of hospital, Soldier On gave me a connection and kept in contact with me and my family throughout. And for that, I'm really appreciative. It's given me purpose to reconnect with others, to be able to share my story so that others that might find themselves in a similar position can learn from what I've been through and hopefully avoid going through the same challenges and experiences. It's an evolving organisation. There's always more that we can do. There's always people out there in the background who need our help, and others who are yet to realise that they need our help. And Soldier On's evolution will continue to help meet those needs. And I'm glad to be part of that and help out in any way I can.
Yeah, just talking about that evolution, one of the things that are coming on board is that that Soldier On in partnership with the federal government and the Sydney Local Health District will be opening up Fussell House at Concord Hospital in Sydney. And Fussell House is a facility that has 20 separate rooms where veterans, of course, Concord's a magnificent repatriation hospital. It's its heritage, and we'll be able to provide medical treatment at Concord Hospital and then serve as an outpatient facility. So we apparently, the demand's really up there. We were planning on having that open around June, July this year, but with COVID-19, looks like it's going to be pushed back a bit. But I'm pretty excited about that facility and how it's going to be able to assist veterans seeking treatment and from an outpatient perspective. So watch this space. I think that will really help. I think Shannon nearly came back on, and it looks like his device is disconnected, and we'll have him back in a sec and just tell him to unmute himself. Maybe just from yourself, Dave, is there anything else that you'd sort of like to add in terms of today and Soldier On, and how's it helped you, Soldier On? And
look, Someone's been an enormous support for my wife and for my wife and I and our kids. I was wounded, and so almost the same time as Soldier On was created, and they reached out to me, which we were so incredibly grateful for, because being my position, even though I was embedded with the military, I wasn't actually a soldier. So I didn't have the sort of established support networks that the military have. But so Soldier reached out to me, supported myself, my family, but also probably one of the most important thing was connected us with people who were going through the individuals but families that were going through the same thing. So to to share experiences and to understand that what you're going through is you've got people around there to understand, and having, because it is a difficult thing to understand if you haven't dealt with people with PTSD or things that it's a very challenging injury to have, and you need people that are going to hang in there, because you tend to want to isolate yourself and not participate in things, and some people don't understand and take offence to it, so they sort of step back. Whilst one of the things that I found with my military friendships and soldier on is that people understand, so they're patient and keep reaching out to you and keep trying to engage with you, and that's just had an enormous positive effect on not just myself but my family as well, and we've made some incredibly strong friendships, and which I'm sure will be enduring friendships, with people like Ben and his wife and Gary Wilson, and so it's just been all around a very, very positive thing.
That's fantastic, and thanks thanks for your service, and thanks for being such fabulous Soldier On ambassadors. So look, one of the things I'd like to do is just sort of encourage, we're receiving live comments from those who are listening in, so there's a lot of thank yous. Thank you for your service. Thank you to who have served and are still serving. Thank you for what you do. Lots of love hearts. And Ben, you are strong. Thank you for sharing your story. There's lots of really nice live comments, but we'd sort of love to, if there's any questions there from our audience today, we'd sort of like to pitch it either to our ambassadors or to yourself, Shannon. So don't be shy. Certainly ask some questions. So John, what does Soldier On mean to you? I mean, you're obviously very involved with Soldier On, and you were scheduled to do the walk up at Kokoda as part of March On, which obviously got canned thanks to the lovely COVID-19 pandemic. So what does Soldier On mean to you, mate?
Look, I'm very lucky that I get to sit, I guess, as an employee of Soldier On, and I get to see the difference it makes in people's lives every day when I'm interacting with the wider veteran community or the people that are coming to us for support. I mean, through our holistic support services that we provide. Now, I've seen people walk in our door unemployed, almost about to be kicked out of their homes as with their relationships falling apart, into gainful and meaningful employment, the connection with the family and the community rebuilt. And as we say, absolutely being able to thrive again as what they were when they left the military. I mean, as people know, in the military, you're working with a sense of purpose and you've really got a clear mission goal and you're proud of who you are. But, I mean, that can be stripped away very quickly. And the fact that we're there to help, and I see it every day, just the amount of people it's made a massive difference to, I think, can't be underestimated. And that really encourages me to get out of bed every day and get to work.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's hopefully we'll do that Kokoda track. I wanted to do it this year, but I was a little bit too fat. I've been working hard.
We'll be on the track together next year. I
think 2021. I've lost 10 kilos, so I've got a bit more to go. So I'm hoping that by 2021 I'll be able to join you on that track.
I can't wait.
So we've got a question there. What can people do today to help show their support for contemporary veterans and their families? Anyone want to have a go at that one? You're on mute there, Jeremy.
I think, it's all about getting involved. Don't hide inside, get outside, talk to your neighbours, as well as just spending a little bit of time by yourself reflecting on those that have served our nation. That's the most important piece is marking the day and taking that time out to do that.
Absolutely. Shannon, just looking at some questions here. So, what does Anzac Day mean for you, mate? I mean, obviously you got on board with your I was only 19 song. So, what does Anzac Day mean for you, Shannon? I think you're still on mute there, mate. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still not hearing it. I think you
may have been suffering from the same issues that I had, I think.
Yeah, you got this technology is fantastic in bringing us together, but sometimes it can be a bit challenging. So we can come back to that.
I think Sandra raised an interesting point though regarding the family. One thing that I've seen really emerge over the last 5 years or so is an awareness and understanding of the impact of service on families. And that is really important to understand because they are, in many cases, the backbone behind our ability to continue serving our country, both in uniform and out of uniform. There's been a lot of awareness created around that, and there is a lot of support still needed for those family members who stand in the background, many of whom are carers and support our veterans in ways that you can't underestimate. When a member joins a service and serves for their country, it is not just the individual, but the whole family joins, and the whole family commits to that lifestyle without second thought, and it has an impact on showing up at birthdays, other events. Only this week I was listening to someone say how their child had said, "Oh, is Daddy going to be here for my birthday this year?" He hasn't been around. He's been on 5 different deployments, and this will be the first time that he's actually been home for a birthday. So, in saying that, there's a lot of people out there doing great things to create that awareness. Gwen Cherney, Renee Wilson, massive shout out to you guys, Connie, and all those people out in the background that are helping to create that awareness and show their support for their families. Because without those families, many of us would be unable to serve.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's very important that in the Soldier On vision, it's enabling veterans and their families to thrive. It's not just veterans, it's very much and their families as well. So we got you back there, Shannon? I still know. He's a good-looking fella, so that's and we love your voice, man. That's so cool. So I'm sure we'll get back to that again, which is always a fun part of these live feeds. Look, one of the questions that came up was, why do we wear Rosemary on Anzac Day? Who's going to have a go at answering that one?
Look, there's a range of facts and the like that are available on the War Memorial website that particularly go out to kids around the country. The Rosemary, I don't think I'll be able to answer that with any what could you say, with a professional response.
Yeah.
I believe rosemary is supposed to improve memory. It's part of the reason behind it. So the idea is that the rosemary is a figure of memory and being able to continue to remember. That's one of the ones that get around.
As Ben said, there's plenty of facts there. There's also various reasons as to how it's become associated with Anzac Day, and there's two that I've heard in recent times, and one is that it was found growing on the Gallipoli Peninsula. And second was that a wounded soldier that was repatriated back here to South Australia was carrying a small bouquet of rosemary, and then it was planted in the grounds at Keswick Barracks here in Adelaide. And if you're ever on Keswick Barracks, you'll see that there's plenty of rosemary around. So there's two. There's probably other reasons as well.
I know talking to Justin Wilbur, who was behind the Aussies and Kiwis for Anzacs, and really he was behind that whole idea of the Driveway at Dawn movement. It's amassed 250,000 followers, and all the proceeds that they're raising there are going towards Soldier On, which is just amazing. We're so thankful to Justin and his team. You're saying there's a huge debate online as to whether one should use rosemary or poppies, and apparently they had to shut the conversation down at the end. But my understanding also is that rosemary is used as a symbol of remembrance.
Yes.
As well. So that's obviously clear. We got you now, Shannon?
I think so, mate. Can you hear me now?
I was going to say, I reckon the fact that we've had to wait so long with you to hear your voices, we're going to be able to sing a song or something.
Yeah, mate. I'd like to agree with you.
You got your guitar handy to get you to sing. I was only 19.
Yeah, it's just over there.
or a few. We'll have to get you to sing a few verses of I was only 19 to close out, maybe. So what I was saying. So what I was saying before, Shannon, was now what does Anzac Day mean for you, mate?
Mate, yeah, I mean, I think it's just an opportunity to pay respect and acknowledge the sacrifice that so many have made. I've had a few family members who my pa had a lot of medals and things like that, so it was just so great. When I remember as a young kid to walk and march with him, when he was still with us. So I think the biggest thing is to remember and acknowledge the sacrifice that a lot of people made for our freedoms and our way of life. Without that, without that sacrifice.
Oh, just as we're going to get. Am I lost audio? You guys lost audio as well?
Yeah.
You
got it in there.
I was going to say we got him to say a few words, but I really wanted Shannon to sing I was only 19. So do you reckon we should still have another go, Shannon, to see if we can get the audio back? Or?
Because we're not singing.
You're not with the fishing line. Go on, mate.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty keen to listen to the song as well, but that is available online. He's actually released it as a single on Spotify and a number of different platforms. So we should support that as well, and hopefully we can get him back just to close things off. But yeah, look, I think Jeremy, you were spot on as well with that explanation as well. So is there any, just having a look at what other questions, there's lots of thank yous for your service. It's a very different morning. Traveling outside is sometimes difficult for me, but I made sure I was on my balcony before sunrise today. So I think it was just amazing how many people were out today. And there are a lot of comments about the inclusive nature today. Isolation, no isolation. The Anzac spirit will never die, not in my household anyway, lest we forget. Proud of all your servicemen and women. From Andrew Van de Ven. Thank you, Andrew. Brendan Adams, Delta Company 6 RAR. Wow, I'll be watching Danger Close today. So have you seen that movie? Hey, have we got audio, Shannon?
I think we have, mate, haven't we?
Oh,
yeah.
all right.
Tell me we have.
So I reckon we should sort of close this out or towards the end of it by listening to your rendition while we've still got your audio, Shannon. So you reckon you can give us a bit of a go of I Was Only 19?
Yeah, of course. No worries. Mum and Dad and Danny saw it passing out the rain at the tunnel. It was a long march from cadets. The 6th battalion had a next to turn while the mayor drew the card. We just getting younger, young woman for you. In town, Carolina, football, and he marched down the gate. His clipping from the paper showed us young and strong and trained. And this way, must have tap with Miss Andre. Gonna be. I was only 19. How's that?
Oh, fantastic.
That was brilliant.
Thanks, guys.
That was fantastic. And look, we're just absolutely delighted, Shannon, to have you as an ambassador. Really appreciate that, and great to hear your views on Anzac Day, and it's certainly a very different one. And from everyone here at
It is.
yeah, so from everyone here from Soldier On, we just like to reach out to all our veterans and their families. I know it's going to be a bit of a tough day. Make sure you reach out to your colleagues and family and friends, and let's try to make this a real special day. If you haven't had a chance to watch our commemorative service, it's encourage you as well, Shannon. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch it. You're featured on it with your song.
Yeah, no worries.
Fantastic. So it's just go to the website soldieron.org.au. Is there any other final words from any of you guys before we sign out today?
Well, thanks.
Look, reach out to your mates.
Yeah, reach out to your mate.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah. Look, I just think it's important to look after yourself, look after your family, be in contact with your mates. Especially some that may not reach out to you, but reach out to them because they might be doing it a bit tough. But yeah, look, it's just what an amazing day this has turned out to be, when it could have been so much the opposite. So and thank you everybody who's got together to make it a special day for those who've served and their families and the wider community. Thank you.
That's very nice. Jeremy, anything else you wanted to say before we closed out, or John?
Just encourage everyone to thank a veteran where you can. Thank their families as well, because as Ben said earlier, they're often the ones that give up far more than what we do. And be sure to pop a cap off a beer and raise a glass to the Anzacs.
No worries. And Shannon, anything last with yourself, mate?
Yeah, no, mate. Just everyone take a moment and remember everything that all the sacrifice that's been made by obviously families as well as ex-servicemen and women. So, yeah, I think. Fantastic.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today. We also did try to get a female to join us. It wasn't supposed to be just a male-dominated thing, but that'll have to be the next time. But I encourage everyone listening. Thank you to the general public. Thank you to veterans for listening in this morning. I think there'll be a lot of people that'll be watching this post the live event as well. We're getting lots and lots of views of our commemorative service, I'm told. So soldieron.org.au, going out there in the country. I'll be speaking with you a bit later, Shannon, on the Today Show. So we'll
no worries, mate.
Together. But thank you to everyone. There's also 105 songs for 105 years, which will be through the Aussies and Kiwis for Anzacs this afternoon. So the more relaxed part, there will be no two up, it looks like. I think you did a bit of two up there at home, I heard, Shannon. So
yeah. Yeah, mate. It might be the only win I get for the last few years too.
No worries. Well, thank you, everyone, and thanks everybody for tuning in this morning. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Cheers. Take care. Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone.
Thanks, Ivan.
Have a good day, guys. Cheers.
Bye.
Where are you? Come here.